Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Hockey, TITTH number 158. I'm your host, Justin Bruni, but I got the Knicks with me here. I got Nick Davis and Nick OZ. How are we doing, boys? Happy Monday. Oh, we got some issues. There we go. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing cool. Having a day off tomorrow, so just finally off work.
Right on. How you doing, OZ? Still nothing?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we can't hear you, brother.
Uh-oh.
Nah, that's all right. We'll let him work on that for a minute here. Yeah, we made it, though. We're here. Stanley Cup Finals. Tampa, Montreal. What are we thinking?
Man, sucks that the Islanders didn't make it. I thought they really had the magic this year, but Tampa, they're just kind of the dogs, in the East, and they've done the damn thing for 2 straight years. And I wish them nothing but success. But Montreal, it's also been a long time for them, and this is like their first Stanley Cup in a while. I think they're going to be really amped to be in the Stanley Cup, and I think that they might have more like want to because they haven't been there in a while the Lightning kind of get like that champion like chill mode almost, like you're like, I've done it. It's kind of hard to repeat, even do it 3 times. But when you haven't done it in a while, it just brings more energy to that team. So I am personally from Montreal because it's always good to see, people not repeat. Parity is always good, but it's going to be a great series. 2 great teams.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Again, I'm going to be rooting for the Canadians, but as far as where my money's going to be placed, it's going to be kind of tough to get behind them. So let's dive into the numbers, though. Let's get into the conversation here. We'll see if we can get OZ back here soon. First, we're going to start with our monkey knife fight props. We've got Andrei Vasilevskiy versus Shea Weber. Vasilevskiy over under 28.5 saves, and Shea Weber over under 3.5 total shots on goal plus blocks. Where are you at, Nick?
I'm going to say Vasilevskiy over, not because I believe that the offense for Montreal is really going to like pop off, but I feel like they're going to have to play like catch up with Tampa Bay. I mean, it's a very different type of team that they're going against. That's, high powered offense. So he's going to face a lot of shots because they're going to be playing catch up. So I'm going to say over, and then I'm going to say Shea Weber on the over as well, because he's going to help with the shots, and he's a defenseman, veteran, going to get the blocks as well. So over for both.
I got you. I'm actually going to go to the under for both. So Vasilevskiy, he's only faced, over this many shots, I don't know, probably 3 times out of his last 10 games. And vice versa, the Canadians have only had over 28.5 shots on net 3 out of their last 10 games. So the trend, I'm going to go with that. I think Vasilevskiy will stay under. I think it's going to be more of a defensively knit type of game on both sides, a lot of feeling out to start the game, the first half of the game. So I'm going to go to the under with him. With Shea Weber, I think it'll be close, but he's hit the under on this total 3 out of his last 5 games. So I'm going to go just run with the trends there with those. Next up, we've got a second one because Stanley Cup Finals might as well go with 2. We've got Nikita Kucherov versus Tyler Toffoli in a fantasy point race. Tyler Toffoli has a half-point head start, and Victor Hedman versus Braden Point with a half-point head start. For me, I'm going to go with the half-point guys. Again, I think this is going to be kind of a slower game. I'm leaning to the under on the total. We'll get to that soon here, but I think that the offense is going to be limited. So I'm going to go with the half-point guys. Typically, when things are tight, that's my general trend. Is I just take that little extra leverage that monkey knife fight's going to get me, and I'm getting Braden Point on the plus half a point. The guy's got 14 goals in 18 games. I think there's plenty of upside there. And Tyler Toffoli, the leading scorer for the Canadians in the regular season and in the playoffs. So I think I'm in a good situation with those trends. What do you think?
I agree. That's very sound logic. So hopefully the hockey deities, go our favor because sometimes in the playoffs it just goes crazy.
Right. We'll see what we get. Maybe we'll throw that back to OZ if he gets here before puck drop. But for now, let's just dive into the game preview. We've got the Montreal Canadiens, of course, going on the road dogs, plus 175 on the money line. Total is at 5 goals even, which I absolutely loathe with a burning passion. And both teams have team goal totals of 2.5. It's paying plus 150 to the Montreal Canadiens and minus 160 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we'll start here first. Game 1, where are you going money line and total?
I'm going to go Montreal. And I'm going to go push on the total points. It's 5, so I think it's going to be a 5 goal game. Over, I think the over is going to be for obviously Montreal. So Montreal is going to have the over, and that's plus 175, minus 119, and plus 150.
Yeah, it's really tough for me. Prior to the game starting, full disclosure, I've only bet Montreal to cover. So I took them at the plus 1.5, paying minus 160. I mean, we're getting two completely different schools of offense and defense here. So, really slow it out, grind it out hockey for the Canadiens. Both teams actually have only 37 goals against so far in the playoffs. But when you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think they've scored like 14 more goals. They have 58 to 43. So yeah, 15 more goals than the Canadiens. They just have another layer of offense. So we really just have to, ask ourselves, are the Canadiens going to step up? And I really think they do. I really think they do. Just that Tampa Bay is just really overwhelming. I mean, their offense, their depth, their experience. They were here last year. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's the anxiety, or maybe I'm just too nervous to just throw the plus money at the Canadiens. I really like the plus 1.5. When you're looking at the penalty killing and the power plays, again, two completely different schools here. Montreal, 93% of the penalty kill. Tampa Bay, 37% on the power play. They're completely night and day on paper here when you're comparing the lines and the depth charts. We've got OZ back here. See if we can get some sound.
Yep, go ahead.
All right,
there we go.
Sounds good.
Welcome.
So, yeah, I really want to go all in on Montreal, but I'm not going to be betting the match or the money line until we actually go live. I'm just too scared. I know I always say scared money don't make money, but it's the finals, man. Anything can happen. We saw Tampa Bay throw up 8 goals last Monday, a week ago. I lost power that night. I didn't get to even finish the show, let alone watch that atrocious game. But that was the last time I picked Tampa Bay's opponent to cover the spread. So I'm hoping I get a little bit luckier tonight. OZ, we're deep into the game 1 preview here. What are you thinking? Where are you at?
I'm thinking more on the Tampa side tonight. They're on home ice tonight. They had a really good game against the Islanders, which I think, while they won, I didn't like the fashion they won. I look back on it, and Tampa was in the middle of the change on that play, and I think they had 6 guys on the ice on the penalty kill. But nonetheless, they still pulled out the win, and I think they're going to take it tonight, and I see it being a close game, probably a 3-2 game.
And see, that makes the most sense. That makes the most sense. But I just don't want to pick a damn winner. It's driving me nuts. I think, especially with the way this year's set up in the NHL, these teams didn't have the chance to play each other. We need a game to assess the situation. Maybe even it's a period. I want to bet the total, but I'm not going to bet it until it's live. I hate the 5. Nick, you said you're thinking it's going to go to a push. Well, the odds are it's going to go to a push, and that's why they put it at 5. If you look at the last 10 games for both teams, between both of them, the push has hit 9 times, 9 out of 20. The over is hit only 5 times. The under is hit 6 times. So the odds favored are that this game is either going to push or go to the under. Even the under, it's still too close for me. If we're all in on Montreal, we could easily see them, score, win the game 3-2, right? So for me, this one's more of a wait and see. I want to watch some live action and dive into the betting then. But pregame, I did take Montreal to cover the plus 1.5. Let's kind of circle back here to the monkey knife fight props. Let's let OZ give his takes. We got Vasilevsky over under 28.5 goaltending saves, and Shea Weber over under 3.5 shots and blocks. What do you think, Nick?
I'm going over on both on those.
Okay, yeah. So Big Nick took the overs. Yeah. I took the unders.
Ooh, Nick Power, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's something that seems like they should hit, but I'm going with the trends on those. Nikita Kucherov versus Tyler Toffoli. Who has more fantasy points, with Tyler Toffoli with a half-point head start, and then Victor Hedman versus Braden Point. Braden Point also with a half-point head start.
I was going to say on that one, give me Toffoli. I like that second line a lot. of
Yep.
Toffoli, Suzuki, Caulfield. A lot of production coming there. Toffoli, if he's not going to score tonight, he's going to get an assist for sure. Braden, you got to go Braden Point on the other one. He's hot. Last game was the only game in a hot minute that he hasn't scored, and I think he'll get on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah, 14 goals in 18 games. He's been absolutely on fire, and that's exactly where both of us went on our picks. So clean sweep for Toffoli and Braden Point. Good stuff. So we covered game one. Me and Big Nick, we're taking Montreal. OZ, you're taking the Lightning. To me, I just think the Canadians have, they're going to be more amped up. They got more to play for in game one. I think, like Big Nick alluded to, Tampa's been here before. They've got that experience. Keep it simple. Play smart. Don't get overly aggressive up against a Canadians team that is going to absolutely push every single one of your buttons. But who do we like in the series here? We got Canadians at a series pick of plus 240, and we've got the Lightning at minus 285. We'll go with you, OZ, first.
I was going to say, for the series, I want to see Montreal win. But tonight, I think Tampa is going to win. But I think down the stretch, Montreal's third and fourth line depth is going to play a big role in this series, even without Yoel Armia, who's out on COVID right now. But that depth that they have, I think, will be hard for Tampa to keep up with because they outperform their top six a lot. And I think it'll become a struggle for John Cooper to be able to line match that inconsistency. And, I just don't want to see Tampa win this whole thing. They're $17 million over the salary cap. Shouldn't even be playing right now. So, give me Montreal.
It's good for the fans, man. It's good for the fans. What do you think, Big Nick?
About what?
Who wins the series?
Oh, Montreal. They won it. There's a whole, when I was coming into, understanding hockey, I didn't grow up with it. I was a little bit older, way older, 18, when hockey really became a big part of my life. And, Montreal has kind of, always had those legendary guys when I was looking up history and stuff. And there's a lot of tradition and there's a lot of people that follow them religiously. And I think that they are not going to mess this chance up. So I'm going to say Montreal. There's just something different about a team that hasn't been there in a while. I've seen it in Washington. Washington got to the Stanley Cup and did the damn thing. The Nats did it also as well. So, it's absolutely possible to win it for them, even though for me, in my head, Tampa Bay is a better team, offensively. Their third and fourth lines, I was really impressed last year with them. But Montreal, just the intangible that you really can't quantify, I think that's going to take them over the edge.
Yeah, it's really tough for me. I'm still going to go with Tampa Bay. I love everything about the Canadians, but they just lack that experience and that depth. What I really want to see from them is, their top line, answer the call and start scoring. Philip Dinal, he got an assist in that last game up against Vegas. Like to see him do a little bit more. Like to see Brendan Gallagher do a little bit more. I just don't know who's going to do it for him. For me, Tampa Bay, it's really easy. Focus on that line too, completely take them out of the game. And if you can do that, where's the scoring going to come from? They hold a 32% share of the goals scored throughout all the playoffs right now. So if you can take away, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Tyler Toffoli, they could be in some trouble. And I just feel like there's a lot of little ways that, Tampa Bay can just, use that experience, leverage their speed, leverage their scoring. It's just going to be tough for me. Even if Braden Point doesn't score a goal in this series, which I don't believe is going to happen, they still have all these other guys, Kucherov, Stamkos, Cirelli, even like Blake Coleman, Yanni Gourde, Alex Killorn's having a great playoffs. Victor Hedman on defense. They just have so many layers of scoring. It's just really tough for me to bet against them. This one, what I really like, and we can jump into some of these, are just the series props in general. Because, picking the series is really hard without seeing any information whatsoever. Again, these teams haven't played each other this year. Before I go to the Conn Smythe, let's go into just some of the props for the series. How many games do you guys think in the series goes to overtime? Keep in mind, Montreal has about 5 overtime wins in this playoffs, and Tampa has no overtime wins and 3 overtime losses.
1.
Going to 1? 1 and 2. So let's see. 1 game is paying plus 160, and 2 is paying plus 250. I think 2 or 3 is probably the pick, and I think I might lean with the 3 just because I think the Canadians are just going to be dogs in this series. Their key to victory essentially is just give up no space, take away all the passing lanes, block shots, really simplified defense. I think it's going to be tight. So I'll take 3 games at plus 650. Nick or Rosie, you said plus 160?
Yeah, plus 160.
The one, okay, I got you. What do you guys think about total goals for Montreal? I love this one. Total is at 12.5. I love the over. It's paying minus 110.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over on that.
Yeah, I like the over there too.
I think
if it goes 7, it's less than 2 goals a game. I think that's
what I'm saying.
possible.
And I was just going to say, like, a good prop to go for the series is how many games, right? So 6 games plus 200, 7 games plus 225, 5 games plus 250, 4 games is at plus 475 for a sweep. I really like 6. But again, I also want the Canadians to win. So.
Yeah, I was about to say 6 sounds nice. Even at that, it's still 2 goals a game. I think that's possible too.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love the over there. It's paying minus 110. I think that's easy money. These next couple are really easy money and also based on the odds. So a points race between Victor Hedman and Shea Weber in the series. Who would you guys take without looking at the numbers?
I'm going to take Hedman.
Hedman all day.
Yeah, exactly. Hedman minus 550, right? In the series, Nikita Kucherov or Tyler Toffoli, a little bit closer. Who would you take?
Kucherov.
Toffoli.
Okay, Toffoli plus 200, Kucherov minus 260. I like Toffoli as well, but again, I'm rooting for the Canadians. Kucherov is a little bit banged up, so I think there's a little bit of upside there. But players play hurt in the playoffs all the time. It's always a consistent theme in the NHL. All right, next up, really, really love this one. This one to me is a home run. Braden Point versus Nick Suzuki. It's got to be Braden Point, right?
100%.
Minus 165. That's the closest of the 3 I just gave you.
What's Suzuki?
Plus 135.
I'm gonna take Suzuki.
Oh man, maybe it's close, but Braden Point's just been on another level in these playoffs. But again, it's points, so the assists also have to go that way. Braden Point doesn't have a ton of assists. Next up, last one we've got is Steven Stamkos versus Cole Caulfield. The rookie at plus 155 and Stamkos at minus 190. I think I want Stamkos.
I said all Lightning over the Canadians, but I want the Canadians to win. So how are they going to win? Carey Price is going to score some goals. That's what's up.
Yeah. He wishes. So you're going Stamkos then?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Nick or Rosie?
Caulfield.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to go with the Montreal guys, man. I just don't know how it's going to happen. Like, Tampa still has a really good defense. Like, it's easy to say like, oh, Tampa's going to, spank them. They're so much better on offense, but they're just as good. They've allowed the same amount of goals in the playoffs, and Tampa's played one more game. They have a goal margin of plus 21. Montreal's is 6. They're very different, but again, there's nothing that we have in front of us, to assess this appropriately. We have no games played this year. And Montreal wasn't even the same team in the regular season. They're like night and day from the regular season to the playoffs. It's not like I can say like, oh, they're home, ATS record, they're home or away, this or that. You have to throw it all out. They're just been completely different since the start of the playoffs. We're about 7:54 here on the East Coast. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to any live betting. Well, if we can, we will. But for now, we're going to move on. We're going to jump into the Kraken expansion draft and talk up some forwards. OZ, since you weren't here pre-show, you had some mic issues. We're just going to go through the list of the teams, and maybe we'll just draft a player from each team, like who we like from each team, or we can just put kind of like our lines together, like I wanted to do. So we'll start with the Tampa Bay Lightning. For me, the guys available that I like: Tyler Johnson, Alex Killorn, Patrick Maroon. Do you guys see any one guy getting pulled from that group over another?
Killorn.
You like Killorn?
Yeah.
Been having a good playoffs for sure. I like Tyler Johnson. He's my guy out of there. How about you, OZ?
I also like Tyler Johnson. I think Killorn, he's been one of those guys who's like a mainstay guy in Tampa. And I think they're going to try and keep him around just for the sole purpose. He's a veteran. He's grandfathered in, been there a while. So I think they're going to try and keep him. Tyler Johnson, on the other hand, he's still a little bit younger, a little bit more speed on him. I think he goes to Seattle that he'll have a good spot in that team.
You're acting like there's loyalty in sports. Like, like there's very few people that have the ability to stay somewhere and be like protected. Like Ovechkin, like he's going to stay in Washington. But like Killorn, like I understand he he's been a mainstay, but that's like the type of guy that you want in your locker room. So I would take Killorn in terms of like having a veteran there instead of having a bunch of young guys. You know, you don't want to go young for every single person.
Tyler Johnson, guys, is only a year younger. So, I mean, the legs are a little fresher, but he's a year younger and he makes more money, which is where I'm going with this. He makes $5 million a year. He hasn't been, producing at the same rate as he was about 3 or 4 years ago. I think that money could just be spent on better free agents. Maybe they want to bring back Blake Coleman, Barclay Goodrow, maybe Ross Colton. I don't know. Colton, he's a restricted free agent. I could see him coming back, but Killorn or Johnson, I'm going with Johnson just because of the money. He makes about another, $500,000 more than him. Killorn, that is, and he has an extra year on his contract. So I think that would be a great cash grab or cash dump for the Lightning. So I got Tyler Johnson actually lined up on my line one. I'll get to my other options here, soon where I have him lined up, but I do have him lining up on line one. Good two-way forward. Can give you defense, can give you a little bit of offense, and can play up against a line one center. Next up, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going with Jared McCann or Jeff Carter. You guys got a pick there between the two?
Jeff Carter. He's way older, but I feel like you want like someone like in that top echelon of age. I don't know. I always try and think of like building it from the top down. You got to kind of have like a pipeline, and Jeff Carter's like a great guy to have. Didn't he play for the Kings and win a championship or something?
Yeah, I think he was there the years they won.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ozzy? Who's your guy?
Yeah, I like Jeff Carter too. Again, veteran player. I think a mix of veterans and young guys is good in that locker room, and I think he'll be a good pick.
I went with McCann just because I think that, to me, I actually think that they should let go Malkin, but I don't think that they will. He does have a no-move clause, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, but I think if they just said, hey, buddy, you're done here, it might work. But I think that's a franchise that's going to be loyal to Malkin and, not heed my advice. So I see, McCann, Carter available. I went with McCann. He's actually on my third line. He could play wing. He can play center. And he's 25. If they keep Malkin, so Malkin, Crosby, Getzel, Zucker, that's 4. I think Brian Rust gets kept. Brandon Tanev, Kasperi Kapanen. That's 7 right there. So it's like Kapanen or Tanev versus Carter or McCann. And if McCann at age 25 with only a year left on his contract, I think that might be more appetizing than the veteran and Jeff Carter, in my opinion. But I do see the value there, and he had a good stint, with the Penguins. So I think there's some value there. I just don't know if they, really attack a lot of older players. He's 36, going on 37, maybe even retire. I have no idea. All right, next up we've got the Islanders. We've got Leo Komarov, Matt Martin, or Cal Clutterbuck. All really good additions, in my opinion. Good guys that's really their whole fourth line, actually, I think, or was at one point maybe. But yeah, good two-way forwards, play great defense. Where are you guys going there?
Go ahead.
I was going to say I would probably take Matt Martin. I think he fills your fourth line. He's got that grit to him. He showed what he did in the playoffs, really just playing the body all over the place. He has experience in the playoffs, and I think the more experience you can have on a new team, the better.
I like it. How about you, Big Nick?
I'll go with Matt Martin too.
Yeah. I like Cal Clutterbuck. It'd be a nice little dump. He's 33 years old, $3.5 million. But Leo Komarov is where I went. I mean, he is older as well, 34. But he's been able to play like he's been able to play everywhere in the Islanders lineup. 4, 3, line 1. He can do it all. I think he's just a nice little stopgap. Someone that you can plug along with. Some weaker players or maybe just scorers, right? Just kind of balancing out the lines. I have him also on line 1 with Tyler Johnson as well. So I'm going Leo Komarov. Not going to be there very long, maybe a year, only $3 million. But the Islanders have a lot of guys. Oliver Wahlstrom, I think they're going to want to keep. How do you say his name? Ozzy Beauvillier. Anders Lee, Matthew Barzal, Brock Nelson, Jordan Eberle, Pajot, Bailey. I mean, some of those guys may not even make the list. So I see Komarov, Clutterbuck, or Matt Martin getting plucked for sure, at least one of those. But I do have Komarov on my line 1. I don't have anyone for the Blackhawks. I think the Blackhawks, if they target anybody, it's probably going to be on defense. There weren't really any names that I could pull up just because they can protect most of their youth and their forwards. For the Capitals, I have Connor Sherry and Garnett Hathaway. We'll start with you, Big Nick. That's your team. Who you got?
They're probably going to pick up Garnett Hathaway. He's a deeper line guy, but I like his grit. I like how he plays, and you would always hear his name being called and stuff. So he makes his name known. So I think he'd be a great addition for the team.
All right, cool. What about you, Oz?
I like that Connor Sherry pick. I think another guy with experience, really, really fast guy, can move the puck well, and I think that he would be a good fit there. And he's under a decent contract too, and I think a very cap-friendly deal is good for a new team.
Yeah, absolutely. I have him as well. He's on my line too, and he's at $1.5 million, but he's just the odd man left out. I mean, they have to bring back Ov, Backstrom, Kuznetsov, Oshie, Anthony Mantha, who they just traded for, Tom Wilson, Lars Eller, Carl Hagelin, and then right there you're looking at Garnett Hathaway and Connor Sherry. I think Connor Sherry gives you a little bit more upside scoring and on defense as well, and he can leverage his speed in the lineup, which I really like. Next, we've got the Sharks, same situation. I think that's someplace where you have a lot more targets on defense. Montreal Canadiens, I have Jonathan Drouin and Paul Byron. We'll start with Big Nick.
Jonathan Drouin. He's isn't he like way younger than Byron?
He's 28.
Okay.
26? 26. Sorry.
Oh, that's good. That works for me. And he provided a lot of production too. So Drouin.
Yeah, I like Drew in there. What about you, Oz?
Yeah, I also like Drouin again, another guy who has experience. He had good playing time with Tampa, came to Montreal, tore it up. He's under a little bit of a heavier deal, but I think he'll be a good fit. And one of the things that I think is crazy that I like to point out is that you have these teams that are cup contenders coming into the expansion draft. It raises everyone's stock so much, like on Tampa and Montreal. The stock on those guys is so high because they're playing a lot and they're in front of more faces, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I wish Jonathan Drouin was in this series, but I have him as well. I have him as my second line center for the Kraken. I think he could fill in nicely there. Get to my fill up my last position on that line here in a minute. Maple Leafs, again, I'm open to suggestions if you guys have them. I got nothing there. They have free agents that they need. No, he won't be available. They just have they can keep most of their guys. They have to re-sign a lot of guys. The Flyers, I've got Scott Lawton, or I think this one's pretty easy if he's available. If they make him available, James Van Riemsdyk.
Yeah, I was gonna go Van Riemsdyk.
Yeah, Van Riemsdyk's kind of an easy pick.
Yeah, pure scorer. So the Flyers, they have a situation. They have Claude Giroux, Jacob Voracek, Kevin Hayes. Van Riemsdyk is, kind of one of those guys that you would assume would be kept, but they have Patrick Nolan, who I think that they're still going to keep. I think that they are going to keep Joel Farabee around. I think that they're going to keep Oscar Lindblom, Sean Couturier, Travis Konechny. Van Riemsdyk, he's 32 years old and he's making $7 million a year. I think they make him available, and I do think he gets scooped up. I have him as my line one winger. Probably leading scorer on the team next year, in my opinion. Florida Panthers, all I've got is Patrick Hornquist. Does he make it out?
Yeah. Doesn't excite me.
I mean, he's a good player, just not someone that you're like, ooh. He doesn't have that it factor to him.
He didn't make my lineup just because I feel like he could still get protected. But at 34 years old with $5.3 million owed, maybe you start thinking about it. I don't know. I think there's some potential upside for that. But again, it's just going to be a money move. And I feel like Florida, they kind of need that experience. They kind of need that extra layer. Let's see. Next up, we've got Calgary Flames. They got Milan Lucic. Any love? Any chance?
How old is he?
I don't know. He's old.
I was going to say he's pretty old, so I would probably pass.
No, he's 33, and again, $5 million, $5.25 million, $5.2 million.
I think the price is a little high.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if the Kraken want to pay for him, let alone Calgary, but I feel like Calgary will make him available in the expansion draft. I feel like his name is going to be out there. They really don't have anyone that they need to re-sign, but I just don't see the priority in doing that. Obviously it's not working. He's not providing a ton of defense, guys. It's not. It's not great on the power play or special teams. Like I don't know. He also has a no move clause, which may be tough. He may say, "Hey, no, I like Calgary. Screw y'all." He did not make my lineup, so we'll move on from him. Let's see. Dallas Stars. I got Blake Como and Tanner Caro. I had them left out. You guys got anything for them?
No, I'm not seeing anything from their stats, so I'm a pass.
No, Blake Como, he can score in bits. He's got a nice little scoring touch every now and again.
4 goals?
Guess not.
Over 51 games? That's a scoring touch.
Wait, I'm thinking of somebody else. Let's see. Tyler Mott for Vancouver, Kyle Clifford for St. Louis.
Maybe Mott.
I like Tyler Mott, but probably a hard pass for me. Neither of those guys made my lineup. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
How about Nick Cousins or Cal Jonkrok from the Predators? I like Jonkrok.
I'll take Jonkrok.
Yeah, I like Jonkrok.
Did make my lineup, but would be a nice little addition, I think.
Every time OZ follows me with the name of the person, I just realize how bad I butcher it.
How about Colorado Avalanche? Jonas Donskoy or Nazem Kadri?
Kadri's interesting.
Yeah, I like Kadri.
I like Kadri too, and honestly, if Kadri is the one, I would probably make him my line 1 center between Komarov and Van Riemsdyk and move Tyler Johnson down. But I feel like they're going to keep him. Like, he's 30 years old. They owe him $4.5 million. Donskoy, he's at $3.9 million a year. They got him for another 2 years. They could hold on to him for a little bit. He's only 29. It's just really tough because they have to re-sign Landeskog. They may want to re-sign Brandon Saad, who's only 28 years old, a little bit younger than people may think. I know that they want to re-sign Tyson Yost, who's a restricted free agent. So, one of these guys is going to be left out. Nishkushkin? OZ? Nikushkin? Yeah, they want that guy back too. So I could see Kadri or Donsky being one of the odd men out. If it's Kadri, cool. I'll take him as my line 1 center. Donskoy, I have him as my line 3, either center or right wing. Take your pick between him and Jared McCann. However it goes. But I think that's going to be an interesting situation to follow who they make available. The Colorado Avalanche. Let's move on to a few more here. What do you guys think about the Senators? Do you think Dadonov could be made available? I think Connor Brown is probably a more likely pick, but I think Dadonov could be made available. Hasn't really strung up anything there. Highest paid player on the team. They're stinking bad.
I think Dadonov could go just for the sole purpose, one of the highest paid players on the team, and he's playing third line minutes. Like, you can't have that in your team. And I think if you can get that out of there, then go right ahead.
I mean, they can make him available, but that doesn't mean he's to be grabbed. So I feel like
he'll get grabbed for sure if he's made available for certain. Like, to me, he would be a very good pick for an expansion team. It's just whether or not that they want to let him go. I think he'd be perfect because you could throw him anywhere. You can throw him on line 3 and give him line 3 minutes, and it's fine because in a couple of years he's going to be gone anyways. It won't matter. So I think if they made him available, he would absolutely be gone. But I could also see a guy like Connor Brown, who is a little bit younger, but I don't think he's going to be with the team long term. They've got to in the coming years, they need to get money available for Norris, Stutzel, if they want to keep him around, Brady Tkachuk, who they need to re-sign this offseason if they want even an opportunity to keep him. So any love for Connor Brown and the Kraken?
No.
Yeah, I don't love it either. That's what I said. I like Dadonov more, but I don't know if they're going to make him available. Arizona Coyotes, I think it's a home run for Phil Kessel. Any argument?
Nope.
No.
As long as they got good hot dogs. Seattle.
So what's he pulling in? $6.8 million a year. He's 33 years old. I mean, this is a really young team. There is no reason to keep him around anymore. It's not like your team success is hinged on his production. So I think he's absolutely has to go. He has a no move clause, but I think that they'll get that and they'll get that out of the way. They'll make it happen. Let's see here. who we got left? And I do have Phil Kessel on my second line. So second line, I have Jonathan Drouin, Phil Kessel, and Connor Sheary. Let's see. Next up, we've got Buffalo Sabres, Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins, maybe on some fourth line anchors.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I like Cousins. I think he could still get better. He's still young.
Mm-hmm. And then some third and fourth line guys that I have here noted. I've got Mason Appleton from Winnipeg. To me, one of the few options. Minnesota Wild, Ryan Hartman, and Colin Blackwell from the Rangers. Any disagreement there from any of those teams?
No.
Nope.
All right, cool. Let me see if we got the game live. I think if it did, it just started, and we probably won't have anything to go off of.
1 minute gone in the first period. What do you guys think? We got an opening line of plus 300.
Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they've done anything. So, oopsie poopsie. All right. Looking forward to getting back with you guys next week. I don't think that we will have a winner by then, but I think we'll be pretty close to hopefully game 6. We got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday is game 4. So Monday we should be talking about how this series looks after 4 games. Appreciate everybody that stopped in this evening. If you haven't already, please be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. You guys have anything to close it down with?
Hold your Doge.
It's climbing.
Doge all the way to the moon.
It's climbing. Yeah, we'll see. Let's get out of the atmosphere.
And
first,
AMC.
Boys. There you go. All right, take care, everybody. Be well, and if you can't be well, that's not how the line goes. Take care. We'll see you next time. Later.